Women will never tell you this. Why? Not because they're hiding a secret, but because they don't even consciously know it themselves. You think attraction is about the words you say, the money you make, the image you project. It's not. Women are drawn to something far older, something deeper. It lives beneath language, beneath logic, beneath every move you make. And here's the brutal truth. If you need her, she will feel it. If you chase her, she will run. You don't attract women by pursuing them. You attract them by becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to. Because women are wired, biologically, emotionally, to seek not the man who wants her most, but the man who needs her least. This is why powerful men are magnetic, not because of status, but because they move through the world with a quiet indifference, an energy that whispers, "I am enough, with or without you." But most men, they've been conditioned to do the opposite, to chase, to prove, to seek approval. And the more they chase, the further she pulls away. You've felt this, you've seen it, and maybe you've lived it. So the question is not, how do I impress her? The question is, how do I become the man she cannot resist without ever chasing? That's what you're about to learn. You've been lied to. They told you that if you just said the right words, if you looked a certain way, if you made enough money, then you could win her. Entire industries are built on this lie. The self-help books, the pickup tactics, the fashion influencers, the luxury brands, all whispering the same promise. Be more impressive and you'll be more desired. But beneath this endless noise lies an older truth, one that doesn't speak in words or status symbols. It speaks in something deeper, something biological, primal, invisible. Because attraction was never about logic. It was never about ticking boxes or running scripts. Long before we lived in cities, before language, before wealth, human desire was shaped by instincts designed to ensure survival and reproduction. And those instincts, they don't care about your clever lines. They don't care about your car. They respond to signals you're not even aware you're sending. Signals that whisper, "I am strong, I am centered, I am safe," or "I am needy, I am unstable, I seek validation." You've seen it happen. A man who should have everything going for him, good looks, success, yet women pull away. Another man seemingly average, yet he radiates a quiet confidence that draws them in like gravity. What makes the difference? It's not what he says. It's not even what he does. It's what he is. The unspoken energy he carries, the presence he projects. This is the silent game you were never taught, a game older than words, one that plays out beneath the surface of every interaction. And if you truly understand this, not just intellectually, but in your bones, you can have any woman. Because when you master the invisible, the visible follows. But first, you must unlearn everything they've told you. Are you ready? For thousands of years, human beings lived in a world of danger, a world where survival was uncertain, where strength and stability were not luxuries, they were necessities. And in that world, women evolved to sense something far deeper than charm or cleverness. They evolved to read the signals of a man's fitness, not just physical fitness, but psychological fitness. Can this man keep himself alive? Can he protect her? Can he provide stability in chaos? These were not conscious questions. They were and still are hardwired instincts. And here lies the paradox. The man who needs her validation, who chases, who tries to impress, is, in her ancient brain, signaling the exact opposite of what she seeks. He is signaling instability. Because if a man is truly strong, centered, and valuable, why would he need to prove it? This is why the man who needs her less seems to attract her more. His detachment is not coldness. It is a signal of self-sufficiency, of abundance, of power. Modern men often ignore this ancient wiring. They rely on tactics, witty lines, grand gestures, status symbols. But beneath all this, their core energy often betrays a different message. I need you to feel whole. And that is the deepest repellent of all. Because attraction is not logical, it's biological. And biology is ruthless. When a man radiates presence, true presence, he triggers an instinct that transcends thought. Women feel it before they understand it. They feel drawn toward him in ways they cannot explain. Presence is rooted in self-possession, in a calm nervous system, in grounded body language, in a gaze that does not seek approval, but simply is. In other words, presence greater than performance. You do not win her through effort, you draw her in through who you have become. And this is the piece that most never grasp. They chase effects while ignoring cause. They decorate the surface while their foundation remains cracked. But if you master the foundation, if you embody the presence of a man who truly needs nothing, you will trigger something ancient within her. Something that no tactic can replace. You speak, you smile, you compliment her. You do everything you think you're supposed to do, and yet something feels off. You sense her pulling away, subtly, almost imperceptibly. Her energy shifts, the warmth fades. You tell yourself, maybe I said the wrong thing. Maybe I should try harder. But that is the very problem. Because what repels her is not your words. It is the invisible current beneath them, the energy of neediness, a signal more ancient than speech. We often believe that communication is about what we say, but the human nervous system is tuned to something far deeper. The emotional state behind the words. Every glance, every pause, every tone of voice, it transmits a message. Do I need you to validate me? Or am I whole without you? Attachment theory explains this well. From childhood, we develop patterns of relating, secure, anxious, or avoidant. A man with an anxious attachment unconsciously communicates, please like me, please approve of me. No matter how smooth his words, this undercurrent is felt, and it repels. Women are wired to detect this state instantly, not logically, biologically. Because a man who needs validation is, at some deep level, unstable. And instability is dangerous. Consider social proof. Why do people gravitate toward those who seem desired by others? Because popularity signals value, but more importantly, it signals non-neediness. The man who calmly receives attention without chasing it radiates sufficiency. He triggers curiosity, not resistance. Emotional calibration is key here. A man who is emotionally attuned can offer warmth without overinvesting, show interest without grasping, give attention without losing self-possession. But when this calibration is lost, when neediness seeps in, the dance collapses. Imagine walking into a room with two magnets. One sits firmly, grounded. The other wobbles, desperate to attach. Which draws you in? Which repels you? You are the magnet. Your energy either invites or warns. And this is where most men unknowingly sabotage themselves. They chase tactics while leaking neediness through every pore. Until this invisible current is mastered, no words will save them. Because in the end, it's not what you say, it's what you are. And she can feel it before you even speak. Here is the great paradox. The less you seek to win her, the more she is drawn to you. At first glance, this seems illogical, even cruel. Shouldn't genuine interest be rewarded? Shouldn't effort count? But desire does not follow logic. It obeys the laws of nature, ancient, unforgiving, unspoken. Imagine two forces, one that chases, one that stands still. Which one holds power? Which one creates gravity? Humans, and women especially, are drawn to those who embody inner sufficiency, to those who seem complete within themselves. This is not arrogance, it is not coldness. It is the deep, quiet energy of someone who does not need from the outside what they already possess within. And when you embody this, it triggers something ancient. Reactance explains part of this. The more someone tries to pull us in, the more we instinctively resist. The more they lean forward, the more we lean back. We value what is not easily claimed. We crave what cannot be fully possessed. A man who chases validation unknowingly signals, you are above me. I need your approval. But a man who is detached, who can take or leave attention, flips this dynamic. He becomes the scarce resource. He radiates abundance. And women feel this shift instantly. Pre-selection amplifies it. When a man appears desired by others, it signals hidden value. But it is not just the social proof. It is how he carries his status. The man who flaunts attention reveals insecurity. The man who receives it with calm indifference magnifies his power. Mystery is the final layer. Humans are drawn to the unknown. A man who reveals too much too soon collapses the intrigue. But a man who holds back, who lets his depth unfold slowly, invites curiosity. And curiosity is the engine of desire. This is why what you chase runs away. The more you need her, the more she feels trapped, burdened, repelled. The more you embody freedom, true, felt freedom, the more she leans in. Because what she truly desires is not a man begging for her light, but a man who carries his own fire, one who would gladly share it, but does not need to. And in this subtle dance, the strongest power is not in pursuit, but in presence. You attract not what you chase, you attract what you are. In a world obsessed with words and appearances, there is one quality that transcends them all: presence. It is the rarest currency in the modern age, and the most magnetic. But what is presence? It is not charm. It is not charisma. It is not the loudest voice in the room. Presence is a deeper force, the fusion of grounded body language, calm stillness, unwavering eye contact, and emotional self-possession. It is the silent message that says, I am here, I am whole. I do not seek, I allow. Women, more than most, are attuned to this, because presence signals what ancient instincts value most: inner strength, stability, and leadership. A man who fidgets, overtalks, scans the room nervously, he dissolves in her perception. He radiates lack. But a man who moves slowly, breathes deeply, meets her gaze without flinching, he fills the space. She feels him before he speaks. Jungian psychology calls this the integration of the shadow, the process of embracing all parts of oneself: light and dark, strength and vulnerability. A man who has faced himself carries a gravity no facade can fake. And ancient masculine archetypes, the king, the warrior, the magician, all embody this trait. Not frantic energy, but embodied presence. So how do you cultivate it? First, slow down. Modern life trains you to rush, react, perform. Presence is built in stillness. Walk slower, speak slower, let silence breathe. Second, breath is your anchor. A shallow, rapid breath betrays insecurity. A deep, slow breath grounds you in the moment. It calms your nervous system and hers. Third, eye contact, not a stare, not a challenge, but a steady, soft gaze. One that says, I see you. I am here. I do not fear connection. Fourth, own your space. Whether seated or standing, take up space naturally. Open body language, relaxed shoulders, a calm, upright posture. Fifth, emotional self-possession. Do not seek her reactions. Do not perform for approval. Allow emotions to rise and fall without attachment. Presence is not about being perfect. It is about being real, being centered, being deeply comfortable in your own skin. And paradoxically, this comfort, this grounded presence, is what draws her in. Because in a chaotic world, the one who remains still commands attention. You become the lighthouse in the storm, not chasing, not pleading, simply being, and that is the greatest power of all. You were not born needy, you were conditioned to be. From the moment you opened your eyes, a system began shaping you. A system built not to make you strong, but to make you compliant. Consider this: entire industries thrive on your emptiness, on the gnawing feeling that you are not enough. Social media feeds it daily. Scroll, compare, crave. The constant highlight reels of others become a mirror of your perceived inadequacy. Each like, each comment, a tiny hit of dopamine, a temporary balm for a deeper wound. But the more you chase external validation, the more fragile you become, the more hollow your presence grows. And they know this. Advertisers sell not products, but identities. Wear this and you'll be desirable. Drive this and you'll be respected. It is a game designed to keep you chasing shadows. Because a man who is always chasing never stands still, never embodies presence, never commands respect. Then there is porn culture, a digital drug, accessible, endless, engineered to hijack your most primal systems. Each click floods your brain with dopamine, a false sense of conquest without the risk of real connection. Over time, it rewires you. Your natural polarity weakens. Your energy fragments. You become less present, less grounded, less able to truly engage with the feminine. And beneath it all lies a deeper tragedy, the collapse of masculine initiation. For most of human history, young men underwent rites of passage, trials that forged resilience, self-possession, and purpose. Today, those rites are gone. In their place, passive consumption, endless distraction, a culture that rewards compliance over courage. So you drift, uninitiated, ungrounded, easily manipulated. And when you approach women from this place, they feel it. They recoil not from you, but from what you've become, a man disconnected from his own core. But here is the revelation. This conditioning is not inevitable. It is not your nature. It was designed. And what was designed can be dismantled. If you choose to wake up, if you choose to stop chasing and start becoming. There is a moment, if you are willing, when you stop asking, how do I win her? And you begin asking, who am I becoming? This is the shift that changes everything. Most men approach relationships as chasers, conditioned to believe that worth must be proven, that approval must be earned. They contort themselves to fit imagined ideals. They seek validation from the outside. But the deeper truth is this: the man who seeks approval surrenders his power, and a man who surrenders his power cannot inspire true desire. The path forward is not to perform better. It is to become whole, to embody the energy of choice and abundance, not as an act, but as your natural state. Stoic philosophy teaches this with brutal clarity. Want nothing outside your own control. Need nothing from what can be taken away. In other words, become the source. Abundance is not the accumulation of options. It is the absence of need. When you no longer crave validation, when you no longer fear rejection, you radiate a rare freedom. Existential psychology echoes this. We are condemned to freedom. The only authentic life is one chosen, not performed. When you embrace this, when you live from authentic self-sufficiency, everything shifts. You stop trying to impress women. You stop bending for approval. You stop chasing what flees. Instead, you become a chooser. You move from a place of centered clarity. You engage not to get, but to share. And paradoxically, this is the very energy that draws others in. Because in a world addicted to seeking, the one who does not seek becomes magnetic. But this is not a trick. It is not a tactic. It is a path of becoming. To walk it, you must confront your conditioning. You must embrace solitude. You must cultivate inner fullness. And when you do, you will find that the need to impress dissolves. The game collapses, and you no longer chase women, you attract them. Because you have become the kind of man they cannot ignore. Not because you need them, but because you don't. In the end, it was never about tactics. It was never about lines, status, or strategy. It was about who you are. You do not get a woman. You become the kind of man who no longer needs to. And when you reach that place of true inner sufficiency, the paradox unfolds. Those you once chased now chase you. But here's the deeper truth. The goal was never to win her. It was to win yourself. Because when you evolve beyond the need for validation, you become rare. In a world drowning in noise, you become still.